Hey guys, what's up? Amir Ryder here for another episode of the Transform Sales Podcast, the software demo review series. I got my guest today, Frank Saunders. He's the founder of Infraforge. Frank, what's up, dude? How are you?
Hey man, very good, Amir. Logging on in our world and particularly helping our clients to scale.
Yeah, and those of you that do not know Frank, you guys will. He's got quite a few products. Infraforge is one of his newest ones that we're going to talk about, but he's got some others, so you're going to see him back on the show. And for those listening, we really kind of want to find that 80-20 rule. So just always keep in mind that when we focus on a specific niche, it's because this is the episode to talk that niche. We're not excluding people, right? But we want to get down to that 80-20. So for the most part, when it comes to Infraforge, my understanding is that the gap that you guys fill typically is scaling cold revenue, scaling revenue with cold email, right? In a world that's changing. So maybe you could talk to me a little bit about how what specific gaps that you guys meet that were kind of unmet before Infraforge, and why you built it, and how you compare it to competitors and alternatives.
Yeah, so currently then our mainstream competitors are the ones essentially you go to a registrar like GoDaddy, Porkbun, or some other registrar, you spin up a bunch of domains in order to dilute your traffic across more domains and hence improve your deliverability. And then you would typically then go to Gmail or Outlook as an email service provider in order to spin up a bunch of accounts. So this is really the only way to scale these days across these sort of secondary domains rather than sending a bunch of emails from your primary domain, because that will ultimately kill the deliverability of your primary. So essentially that's the mainstream really competitor that we're sort of competing against. So good luck, setting up your DNS records and paying sort of $7 or $8 a pop per Gmail account, like super expensive. And then ultimately Google potentially sort of suspending your account. So instead, we've built a software that allows you literally to set up domains and mailboxes at any scale within about 5 minutes, and you can plug that infrastructure into any sending software of your choice. And that's pretty much it. That's really what it does on the tin. Like, it's also like a really huge pain, super fast, and it does so at half the price.
I like it. Faster, cheaper, more efficient. For you guys listening, cold email is most certainly a way to drive revenue. Changes in the industry happen to do with just them getting a lot tighter with the type of emails you send, sending limits, right? And all of these restrictions created workarounds where before Infraforge, you'd have to do multiple things through multiple softwares and websites, which was time consuming, right? And not scalable. And you guys took all of those steps and put it into one platform so that a person at a company who's responsible for generating revenue with cold email can now set up email boxes, warm them, manage them, maintain them faster, cheaper, and more efficiently than you could manually.
Yeah, arguably, actually, this is the biggest pain in running cold email campaigns, your infrastructure. Everything else is much easier, whether that's writing copy, getting a lead list together, or just getting an email sending software. Infrastructure is the hardest part of the what we call the four main pillars of cold email.
Makes sense. Yeah. If people don't see your emails, they land in spam and they don't get opened, you got nothing, right? It doesn't matter how good your offer is and how good your copy is. Do you mind showing us maybe 5 minutes, just how companies would scale cold revenue? Sure. Let me know when you send it. I'll share it.
Sure. So you're seeing my screen, right?
I do. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, typically, if you're serious about, as I said, scale via outbound and using cold email, the first thing really that you need to set up is your infrastructure and get that infrastructure warmed up for a couple of weeks. So here you are seeing in my workspace called Infraforge.ai. I have a bunch of domains, a lot of sort of what's called mailbox slots and active mailboxes that I already have set up. To figure out really how many domains and mailboxes that you need, you click on the mailbox calculator, you enter some numbers in there. So for example, how many emails you want to send to your prospect in a sequence or a campaign, how many mailboxes do you want to set up per domain. So we typically recommend 2 or 3, and then how many emails you want to send. So I always recommend to do backwards analysis, essentially figure out how many contacts do you need to process in order to book, say, one meeting. Typically, it's a 0.5%, meaning about 200 contacts, but it could be literally up to 1,000 contacts that you need to engage with in order to book one meeting. But either way, whatever you decide to do, the first step that you need to go ahead with is you need to create those domains. You can also transfer in your domains if you have them somewhere else. But really, you click on create domains, you enter your domain name, let's say iloveamir.com, and we create 5 secondary domains. So here we go. We generated 5 permutations of the primary, like get, try, use, go, my, and so on and so forth. Every domain costs $13 a year. Click on next, enter your main business domain so it forwards right when the user enters into the browser. Super important that you do that. I wouldn't worry about the DMARC emails, and then you just check out, fill out your contact details, and you're done. Literally a 2-minute job. Once you're done with that, then you buy your slots, and
so what are slots for those that don't know that term? Is that a domain? Is that an email address or?
So a slot is so just like you go into, say, Google and you buy these sort of licenses. These are essentially slots. So for example, you bought 10 slots. So these 10 slots will allow you to create 10 email IDs. So these email addresses that you're seeing essentially in front of you, you need 10 slots in order to create the 10 of them. So as I said, per domain, you want to be setting up about 2 or 3 mailboxes, where each mailbox sends about 30 cold emails per day. So then you can click on create mailboxes. You click on auto generate mailboxes. You select the domains. So I'm going to select all of them. I'm going to click on 2 mailbox per domain. Select the name types, whether you want to set random names. You can also define the names being unique for every single mailbox. So you can also set the same one. So say Frank Saunders. Then we click on next. Then here we can fill out also a signature block. So naturally, title, company name, maybe address, telephone number, and you can also forward all the emails if you want them to be forwarded to your primary domain.
You're able to buy them and set them up correctly all from one place, which is very tedious, right? Like multiple Google Chrome profiles, so it's a kind of to procure, set up from one spot, one button.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So then you click on generate 174 mailboxes, which would take you typically about a couple of weeks to set up. You're setting this up literally in 2 minutes. You can review every single email account. If you like what you're seeing, you would just click on create 174 mailboxes, and that's it. You would just land in here. Then you just export that out to, say, Salesforge as our sending software. You select that workspace, and by clicking export to Salesforge account, that's it. You'll be done, and the warm-up period would start. If you want to use any other sending software, you just click on export to other, and then you just select one of the other providers. So you can literally use it anywhere.
I like it. It makes sense. Talk to me a little bit about the key performance indicator that someone would focus on success of your company. And I know that's it's interesting because it's such a competitive skill set that most people don't even know what's happening in the background, right? They're just, I need my emails delivered. But are they measuring success on revenue, or are they measuring success on time saved? What does that look like?
So open rates, success of the software itself, you mean?
Yeah, so, like a company that wants to scale revenue with cold email, and they're like, they bought Infraforge, and they're like, it worked, right? What does that look like?
So, the typical companies that would go for this is essentially you'll have, let's say, an SDR team. You're not very savvy. You don't really know what you're doing, and you just want to get this set up, because literally an intern could do this, right? What they're showing you just now. And companies don't have an email delivery expert, and neither the engineers really care about setting up domains. So like super easy to use, as you have just seen right now. So time saved is one. Number two, each email account is only $4 or less to set up. So with more sort of scale, more commit, essentially goes down in price, down to $2.5. And so, these are the 2 main things. There's also like these other kind of tinier things. So for example, with Gmail, you have this sort of annoying 2FA that's being enabled for a lot of the accounts. So we would eliminate that within the software. And it's kind of that seamless management. So there's also different workspaces. You can also buy multiple dedicated IPs for different workspaces. There's also API that's available really to allow you to scale. If you own a SaaS, company, you can plug that into your company. So we also do that. There's just a lot of things that we're able to do. It's like purpose built for outbound, where naturally the providers like Gmail and Outlook, they're going against cold email. So we're actually fighting against that. We believe the question is not if, but when Gmail and Outlook will start really cracking down. So imagine the future where Gmail and Outlook is not an option anymore to send cold emails. What you're going to do then? So we are already the largest alternative email infrastructure provider out there in the world. So this segment will grow. We expect a ton more clients to be onboarding over the months. So it's just a matter of time until we believe you'll also test out Infraforge.
Awesome. Yeah. So you know, you kind of answered my last question where we talk about like what deliverabilities are involved in the software, but the software really is actually focused on speed and making it easier, right? So I think you kind of hit the question by saying that it's, you know, if you're a smaller company, a startup looking to scale fast without having to hire experts, agencies, new employees, you can basically click buttons in a nice UI. So setup is quick. Is there like a time frame? What's the slowest part about it? Is it warming the emails? Like what really slows people down? Is it just waiting for emails to be warmed?
Yeah, it's the warm up. You can't really escape that because when you create brand new domains,
Yeah,
Boxes, Gmail, and Outlook have never seen these accounts. And also brand new domains also can be put on what's called a temporary blacklist for about 7 days. So that's another reason why you should be warming up accounts for at least 2 weeks. However, if you are reaching out to enterprise grade companies, I recommend to warm up them up to a month at least.
okay.
So
And the
yes,
warming up is a separate, it's a separate thing, right? Anybody listening, that's just emails that kind of mimic, you know, normal usage so that you know, the providers don't look at it like an email just purposely used for sending emails, right? So the setup is days. It's a person, it's fast. You might have to wait for the emails to be warmed up, but that is not an Infraforge thing. That is just a process thing, right? That actually include that the process is time, right? The longer an email's warmed up, the more it looks real. So that's part of that process is time. That makes a lot of sense. So anybody who's looking to scale up their email game, as usual, in the comments, we have a link. You could try Infraforge. Do you guys have a free trial? How does that work? How do people typically start with your product?
so we don't have a free trial just like any other registrar. So just go in, you figure out whether that's for you. People can book themselves into a call to speak with an expert as well. So we hire actually people that have done cold email for years. So you can also discuss any other stuff. So we always say, you know, when you buy the software, you also get the team with it, you know. So that's something that clients appreciate a lot. And then, yeah, typically then if you have any questions whatsoever, then there is the support team in chat. So think of it this way, like imagine if you had the ability to speak to Gmail and Outlook about your cold emails. Well, guess what? You don't have that ability. They don't want you to speak to emails. But with us, you can. And hence, you know, when you run into troubles and stuff like that, there's a lot of conversations that we have with our customers, whether that's you know, blacklisting or many other things that that you need to do as part of the maintenance process. So and that's something that we help with you know, for every single user that we have.
Yeah. We look forward to sharing some of your other products with the world on some other episodes. Everybody, thank you for tuning in to the Transform Sales Podcast, the software review series of Infraforge. Yeah, appreciate you and what you're doing. I think we're also in CloudTest looking to scale up some emails. We've been talking with you, so we're just waiting for the time is right. But we definitely want to scale up our email game as well using your tech. So we're looking forward to that. And yeah, appreciate you being on, man. Thank you for joining, and everybody who's listening. Thank you.